What's up, guys? Nick here from Budget Decks, also with my good friend Alec, also of Budget Decks, coming at you with a Skull Servant deck list. So, Alec, let's just jump right into it.
Okay, obviously for a Skull Servant deck, you would want to run 3 vanilla Skull Servants.
Now, why would you want to run this in a Skull Servant deck?
Because, obviously, you need as many Skull Servants as possible in your deck, and this right here will boost your King of the Skull Servants up right to 3,000 immediately.
And how much does he cost?
He costs about $1 a piece last time I checked, which is a lot for a 300-point card with 200 defense, but in the long run, completely worth it.
That's $1. That's $3 right there. That's literally as much as that drink right there. Think about that.
That drink's expensive too.
The drink is actually quite expensive.
Now,
Alright, next up.
Next up, you would want to run 3 White Princesses. Her effect is that when she's summoned on the field, you can throw a white prince in the grave, and also you can immediately hand trap someone and lower the attack of any monster on the field. Now, she's important. Definitely run 3. Next, you would definitely again run 3 White Princesses. His effect is when thrown in the grave, you can throw 1 Skull Servant and 1 Lady in White in the grave. And not only that, his other effect is once he's in the grave, you can banish himself and 2 others to summon a King of the Skull Servants, which is a pretty high risk, so I wouldn't recommend it unless you're in a tight pinch. Next, again, run 3 Lady in Whites. Her effect isn't that necessary, it's just that it protects other Skull Servants from card effects on the field. She is best in the grave. That's her whole purpose. Her purpose in life is to die.
There's your foolish burial target.
Now, this is where all the price comes in. He is your boss monster, and if you get all the Skull Servants in the grave, he can be 14,000 attack right on the field.
Imagine if you United We Standed that.
Ooh, that would be a good one. Now, not only that, if he is destroyed, sent to the grave, you can banish a Skull Servant and bring him right back. So you can just continuously pop him right back on the field, and he will save your life. Because how many other cards can get that strong?
Pretty confident, quite a lot, actually.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest here. That's not that rare. How much does he cost, out of curiosity?
To be honest, I don't know, but not $1.
Not $1, so he's less. So the better version of the Skull Servant
is cheaper
than the crappy version of Skull Servant.
That's how the game works.
Hashtag Yu-Gi-Oh!
Next, run 3 Armageddon Knights. His effect is when he is summoned, you can throw 1 dark monster from your deck to the grave. Obviously, you'd want to choose a White Prince so that you can just immediately get them in the grave.
Obviously a White Prince.
I mean, if the situation calls for it, another card, but he is your best bet. Next, Card Trooper. Mill the top 3 of cards of your deck every turn you get, and increase his power. Not a very good attacking monster, but he does pretty good. Mostly just to mill your deck.
Simple enough.
Now these are the cards that are your main engine. Light Swords. Starting off with Raiden. During your main phase, throw two cards from the top of your deck into the grave. And at the end phase, throw 2 cards again from the top of your deck into the grave. Now, you might want to be very careful with these cards because if the rounds go on too long, you will kill yourself very quickly.
So going up against, certain decks like, I don't know, 6 Samurais.
Yeah, that can hold out in the long run. then you would be in
you're a bit of a pinch, right?
Oh yeah, very big pinch.
But you have ways, of course, to get cards back from the grave to your deck.
Definitely. Could use more when you guys want to edit your decks, throw in whatever you feel is best. Now, I run an Erin, I forget her name. But anyways, the Light Sword
monk. I think you pronounce it Erin.
Probably. Now, her effect is, again, mill 3 cards from the top of your deck into the grave, but she also has a neat effect that when you attack a defense position monster, before even damage calculation is applied, just shuffle it right into the deck. So if you have an enemy that likes to place a lot of defense monsters, get rid of those.
Like penguins, for example.
Exactly.
That's good against penguins.
Now, another one, I probably will get rid of this soon. It is Jane, Lightsworn Paladin.
Now, why are you going to get rid of it?
To be honest, there are many other Lightsworns, including another Raiden, that would be a lot better. Her effect is that she can throw 2 cards at her end phase into the grave, and she kind of powers herself up a tiny bit. Not all that worth it.
Now, why are you running, why are you just running 2 random-ass Lightsworns and then only 2 Raidens? Let's be honest, Raiden's like kind of the best Lightsworn ever. Why not just get rid of this bitch, get a third Raiden, and then get 2 Errands and get rid of a card trooper?
Because I'm a poor man who can't afford it.
So you drew him out of packs.
I drew him out of packs.
Fair enough.
And I'm too lazy to go buy some more.
Fair enough. Amen. Amen.
Now another one. This is a iffy one that you would run, but I love running him. Dark Grepher. Now, for him to work, you have to have a dark monster in your hand to summon him. But once you summon him to the field, you can also throw another dark monster into the grave. So, first turn, get him. You could throw 2 cards in the grave, which you could choose to be 2 white princes, which would immediately get 6 Skull Servants in the grave. That would be a big boost.
So that discard is actually huge, and it's a special summon, so you can still get that free normal summon.
Exactly.
To activate, like, I think, White Prince effect? Is that the one that's Foolish Burial? I forgot already.
Yeah, white princesses.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I run 3 Raigeki breaks.
Now I
people-
think we really need to talk about this card here, because this is a card from, like, ancient times.
It is. It is
Why?
also a cheap card.
How cheap?
Probably only like 15, 20 cents. Now, what his effect is that you discard 1 card from your hand to destroy a monster on the field. This is good for like clearing out your hand and getting rid of your enemy's back row if you're afraid of it.
So if you're running this deck correctly, you basically have very little deck and very little hand.
Exactly. This deck is meant for fast, easy, instant kills, and I will be showing you a card very soon that'll allow that to happen. Now, I run a Jar of Avarice. This card
Avarice.
will...
Holy crap, you said Avarice. Avarice.
Don't insult my
You
pronunciation.
need to, oh my god, where were you born?
Now, this card, you choose any cards that you want, 5 cards from the grave,
Except Jar of Avarice.
except for Jar of Avarice, and you can put them back into your deck to draw 1 card. This basically will save you from overdrawing yourself.
I hope they reprint this,
I do.
because I want a shiny version of it.
I do too.
I'd like a shiny version of that card. It's one of my favorites.
Now, I also run 2 Book of Life.
Now, why only 2 Book of Lives? Why not 3? Is it semi-limited? I don't remember.
I don't know. I just thought they were too pricey. I don't know how much
That
they
makes
are.
sense why we have, like, the slightly damaged one right there.
Just open.
Fresh out of a pack.
Now, this card allows you to special summon 1 zombie-type monster from your graveyard to the field, and since Skull Servants are zombies, they will be a big help for you. And not only that, remove 1 monster from your opponent's graveyard. Not sure when you'd want to use that, but it'd be up to you what you pick.
Fair enough.
I run 2 Charge of the Lightsworn.
Now, why not
Charge of the
3?
Light Brigade. Because I was actually gifted these cards, and I just added them for fun. Now, this card allows you to send 3 cards from the top of your deck to the grave to add a Lightsworn monster level 4 or lower to your hand, which will allow you to instantly bring Raiden as well as mill your deck. Now, this is a fun card to use because your opponents will love you. Level Limit Area B.
Oh my gosh. Digital bugs are back, baby.
All level 4 monsters on the field are turned to defense position. Now, you might ask, wouldn't that hurt you? But look at who your boss monster is. He's only got 1 level. So that means he is unaffected by this, which will allow you for quick attacks. Now, coming off of that, I also choose to run 2 Pyramid of Wonders.
Now, why this card?
This card is a weird one that I don't see many people use, but all zombie monsters you control gain 200 attack for every monster your opponent controls. Now, that effect is just kind of okay, but if exactly 1 zombie monster on your field is going to be destroyed, you can choose to destroy this card instead, so it protects at least 1 of your monsters.
For 1 turn.
For 1 turn. Now, here's the card that'll cost you about $2-3, but
Ooh, that's
absolutely
That's
worth
a lot of money. $2-3? That's $6 right there. This is
Exactly.
worth 1/4 of your deck.
Exactly. Absolutely worth it, though. Octa Camouflage Armor. This card, when equipped...
What the heck? I just noticed this. Who took a bite out of it?
I'm not sure. The poor thing had its days. But this card, you can equip to a level 1 monster, and it allows you to bypass all monsters on the field, attack directly. Now, this card, when
So
equipped...
you just mill the living crap out of your deck, and then you equip it to King of the Skull Servants, and then attack for 14,000 game.
Exactly. You can instant kill with this card. Now, here's your problem that comes with Light Sworns. There's the possibility of throwing this card in the grave. Which Jar of Avarice Jar of Avarice can help remedy if you don't throw another Jar of Avarice into the grave. This is a very risky deck.
Avarice? Where the freaking heck do you get that? I thought you were an English major.
From now on, I'm gonna start calling it Avarice just because you say that.
Fair enough.
Now, I run also Lightning Vortex. If you don't, if
Also one of the more expensive cards in the deck.
yes, so
At
it's
like
very
$1.10.
possible that if you do not have your Optic Camouflage armor, you can just use this to wipe their field immediately. Now, of course, their opponent has to be face up, and you have to discard one card. But this card loves throwing himself in the grave, so
Yeah, it's not too bad.
no. Now, second to last, Foolish Burial. Throw any Skull Servant that you want in the grave, preferably White Prince.
All right.
And lastly, One for All. One for one.
One for one.
One for one.
Didn't even bother to read the card before he put it down.
Yes, I run this deck, and I don't even know how to call these cards. Now, this card, send one monster from your hand to the graveyard to special summon one level 1 monster, which would be your King of the Skull Servants. Now, this deck is a very risky deck, but it is a very rewarding deck, and it's a very fun one to play. So I would definitely recommend buying this.
What decks have you beaten with that?
I have beaten a very powerful, almost meta Blue Eyes deck. Now, because
To be fair, that's my Blue Eyes deck, and I can promise you guys that it's barely rogue tier, if at that. Like, it's still really slow.
it was a good deck, but he relied too much on his Maiden, which I bypassed with the 8,000 power Optic Camouflage armor.
Yeah,
Skull Servant.
my new one's better than that. Now, has this beaten other decks like, I don't know, 6 Samurais, Karakuris?
Oh, it wiped the floor with 6 Sans and
It wiped the
Karakuris.
floor with the 6 Samurais. All right. That's good. I mean, do you remember the situation?
Well, to be honest, the deck could have been run better, but he was running it to the best of his potential, and that was a pretty strong deck that has given other decks a run for its money.
All right. Good times. Thank you very much, Alec, for your really wonderful Skull Servant video.
Anytime.
If you guys like this video, build it. Yeah. Bye.